All right, today we are breaking down the bull case for Rezolve AI. A really popular financial influencer is out there calling this a potential blockbuster moment for the stock. But the reason why, well, it might just surprise you. This isn't just about a one-day price pop. It's about what the charts and some hidden data might be telling us. So let's get right into it. Okay, so you see this at first glance, a 13% jump in a single day. That looks like the whole story, right? You'd probably think, wow, great day, but I missed the boat. But the entire argument we're deconstructing today says, nope, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The real action is happening just below the surface. So if that 13% gain isn't the main event, then what is? Well, the core of this whole bull case really comes down to the technical charts. The argument is that these charts have been quietly setting the stage for what could be a massive, massive move. And that brings us to the first major piece of this puzzle, what's being called the technical breakout. The claim here is simple. The charts are basically screaming that a huge shift in momentum is underway, a shift that could unlock some really serious upside potential. This is where the technical story gets really interesting. Now, you got to think of moving averages as these invisible trend lines that traders watch like hawks. And Rezolve AI just punched right through two critical ones, the 20-day and the 50-day. And on top of that, it also cleared that big psychological hurdle of $3.10. Breaking all of these resistance levels at once, it's like a car smashing through multiple barriers. For traders, that is a powerful, powerful signal that the momentum is really shifting gears to the upside. So, with those smaller barriers completely out of the way, what's next? Well, according to this analysis, the path of least resistance now points directly to the next major checkpoint on the map, the 100-day moving average. And that's sitting right at $4.14. That's being flagged as the next logical target for the stock. But look, a breakout like this, it rarely just happens in a vacuum. The argument here is that this isn't just about one company's chart. It's about a perfect storm of market-wide factors all coming together at the exact same time to push stocks like this higher. Let's break down what's actually in that storm. So here they are, the 5 key tailwinds that are supposedly creating this perfect storm. First, investors are just getting bolder again, they're moving money back into growth stocks. Second, you've got Bitcoin recovering, which often signals that there's just more cash flowing freely into the markets. Then you have all this positive buzz around AI coming out of the huge CES tech conference. The fourth factor is a little more psychological. It's this idea of a reverse Santa Claus rally, where a bad December leads to a January rebound. And finally, the big one, a feeling that Wall Street is taking a serious second look at AI stocks that got really beat down last year. And now we get to what this influencer sees as the real wild card, the potential accelerant for this whole entire trade, a possible short squeeze. This is that hidden force that he believes could turn just a regular old stock move into something truly explosive. Just so we're all on the same page, let's do a quick refresher on what a short squeeze is. You see, short sellers are investors who are betting that a stock's price is going to fall. They borrow shares, they sell them, and they hope to buy them back later at a cheaper price. But if the price goes up instead, they start losing a ton of money, and they're forced to buy back shares to stop the bleeding. All that frantic buying from the short sellers just adds more fuel to the fire, pushing the stock price up even faster and even higher, and that is the squeeze. And this is where the numbers get really eye-opening. According to the data being cited here, the official short interest more than doubled in a single month. It leaped from 8% all the way up to 17%. And a live estimate right now, it's even higher, sitting at over 22%. That is a huge and rapidly growing pile of bets that this stock is going down. And the influencer is speculating that the next official report, which is due out pretty soon, could show an even bigger number. He's actually floating the idea that the true short interest could be 30, 40, maybe even 50% or more. Now, if he's right about that, it would mean that the pressure cooker for these short sellers is getting way, way hotter than anyone currently realizes. Okay, so we've talked charts, we've talked a potential squeeze, but there's a whole other layer to this bull case. It's a fundamental argument that Rezolve AI is actually an undiscovered gem, a company with a really strong growth story that has just flown completely under the radar of most investors. And to back up this undiscovered claim, the source points to this data from the social platform StockTwits. Rezolve AI has about 11,000 people watching the stock. Now compare that to a company called Sellside Corp, which has a similar valuation, but it has 50,000 watchers. The argument here is pretty simple. What happens if Rezolve AI gets even a fraction of that attention from everyday investors? It could act as a massive catalyst for the stock. And this whole situation could come to a head really, really soon. There are two huge dates on the calendar to watch. First, in the next week or 10 days, that new official short interest data is going to drop. That's going to either confirm this high-pressure theory or just pour cold water all over it. Then, on January 13th, the company itself is set to release new financial guidance, which could completely rewrite the entire story for investors. And finally, let's just see how all of this lines up with what the pros on Wall Street are thinking. Because this isn't just retail hype. The average price target from professional analysts is over $9, with some seeing it going as high as $15. Now, considering the stock is trading down in the $3 range right now, these targets suggest that analysts also see a massive gap between its current price and where they think its fundamental value really is. So it all boils down to this, doesn't it? On one side, you have the fundamentals, and they're backed by pretty bullish Wall Street targets. And on the other side, you've got the hype, which is being driven by this technical breakout and the potential for a massive short squeeze. The billion-dollar question is, will these two powerful forces converge and launch Rezolve AI into the stratosphere? That's the heart of this bull case, and it's what a whole lot of investors are now waiting to find out.